Hello and welcome to my spring anticipated releases, also known as talking you through my NetGalley requests for the next 3 months, so April, May and June. I know not everyone counts it as spring, but I really don't want to say Q2. So I have 10 books that I want to talk to you about today, a surprising number of Irish entries, or maybe not that surprising considering my recent output. I will leave links in the description if you would like. That's not the description. I will leave a link up there if you'd like to go and check out some of my recent videos. And as always, all the information about these books will be in the description, including release dates, if I forget to mention them, and places where you can pre-order them. Well, specifically bookshop.org links where you can pre-order them. I am a bookshop.org affiliate, so as you know how affiliate links work, but so if you want to order them from down there. So probably not in order, can't remember if I put them in order or not. All of the information below. The first one is Fair Play by Louise Hegarty. I really like this cover. I know it's probably not for everyone, but it's quite striking. What is also striking is that I know not much about this book, but one of the reasons that I picked it was because 2 Irish writers that I have enjoyed recently said they loved it. So Paul Murray, who wrote The Bee Sting, which was my favourite book of 2023, and Colin Walsh as well, who I haven't actually read yet. So I thought it was Colin, a different Colin. Anyway, Abigail and her brother Benjamin have always been close. To celebrate his birthday, Abigail hires a grand old house and gathers their friends together for a murder mystery party. As the night goes on, they drink too much and play games. Relationships are forged, consolidated, or frayed. Someone kisses someone they shouldn't. Someone else's heart is broken. In the morning, everyone wakes up except Benjamin. Suddenly, everything is not what it seems. An eminent detective arrives, determined to find Benjamin's killer. The house now has a butler, a gardener, and a housekeeper. This is a locked room mystery, and everyone is a suspect. I have a huge fondness for Agatha Christie and those sort of locked room country estate mysteries. They are definitely some of my favourites, and I think that this one sounds like it's going to be sort of a tongue-in-cheek pastiche of that, and this is definitely one that I have seen a lot about on Instagram. People have been posting it, perhaps because of that lovely cover. Sorry, my cat is out of shot and attacking me. But yeah, so that is the reason that I am interested in that one, along with the praise from Paul Murray, who said that it was clever, confident, and always surprising, which I think is all you can ask for from a mystery. Next we have I Cheerfully Refuse by Leif Enger. This one has been praised by Violet Cooper-Smith, who wrote Build Your House Around My Body. I definitely think that people having advanced praise from writers that I like is something that draws me a lot to a book. Violet Cooper-Smith said that it was a book that read like music, both battle hymn and love song for our world. And this is about a bereaved musician who takes to Lake Superior in search of his departed, deeply beloved book-selling wife. Encountering lunatic storms and rising corpses from the warming deck, Rainey finds on land an increasingly desperate and illiterate people, a malignant billionaire ruling class, crumbling infrastructure, and a lawless society. Amid the Gulliver-like challenges of life at sea, Rainey is lifted by the physical beauty, surprising humour, generous strangers, and an unexpected companion in a young girl who comes aboard. As his essentially guileless nature begins to make an inadvertent rebel of him, Rainey's private quest for the love of his life grows into something wider and wilder, sweeping up friends and foes alike in his strengthening wake. Interesting. I'm not really sure what I make of that, but I think that the way that it has been described, the praise that has been given to it, makes it sound like the writing is going to be really beautiful, and I do enjoy a bit of pathetic fallacy. Next we have Open Heaven by Sean Hewitt. This one is another Irish writer and has been praised by Anne Enright and Fadia Lennon, both of whom I read last year and enjoyed. Enright says that Hewitt writes with such tenderness and grace. In fact, he seems to have been also praised by Brandon Taylor and Kaveh Akbar, so I have a feeling there might be some grief in this one. On the cusp of adulthood, James dreams of another life far away from his small village. As he contends with the expectations of his family, his burgeoning desire, an ache for autonomy, tenderness, and sex, threatens to unravel his shy exterior. Then he meets Luke, unkempt and handsome, charismatic and impulsive. He's been sent to live with his aunt and uncle on a nearby farm. Luke comes with a reputation for danger, but underneath his bravado lies anxieties and hopes of his own. The passing seasons, 2 teenagers grow closer, and the bond that emerges between them transforms their life. James falls deeply for Luke, yet is never sure of Luke's true feelings. And at the end of the summer, he has a choice to make. I think this one's going to be quite tender. I do tend to enjoy coming of age stories. Well, no, I have a mixed relationship with coming of age stories, but when they are done well, they can be some of my favourite books. So fingers crossed this one will be one of those. Next we have The Lady Upstairs by Jessie Elland, which was described as a fever dream of a novel, which is something that I'm trying to lean back into. I used to really read a lot of weird horror adjacent literary fiction, and I think that that is something that I would like to read more of again. And by used to I mean like 2 years ago. I'm not talking about like the ancient past, but I think I went away from it last year. Scullery drudge Anne longs to become a lady's maid. Anne can't quite remember how or when she arrived at the Grand Ropener Hall, but she loathes spending her days toiling in the dark kitchen. When a chance meeting with Ropener's Lady Charlotte leads to the opportunity to become her personal maid, Anne is convinced she has finally escaped her own version of hell. But has she? As Anne's new life above stairs takes a sinister twist, will it turn out that the terrors lurking up there are worse than the devils she knows below? And it has been described as being for fans of Mariana Enriquez and Angela Carter, both of whom I really enjoy, particularly their short stories, although this one is a novel, but hopefully it will have as much atmosphere and kind of visceral body stuff and creepy kind of fantastical elements, because that is definitely something I'm looking for. Next we have Life Cycle of a Moth. Next we have Life Cycle of a Moth by Ro Owen. And this one is also kind of slightly strange and weird, I believe, and Molly Aitken, who wrote The Island Child, which I talked about in my favourite books by Irish authors video, has praised it as biting and rich. Maya and daughter live in complete isolation in a secluded woodland. Their days aligned with the light and changing seasons, a complex pattern of routine and ritual. Daughter has never questioned the life her mother has chosen for them, the life that has meant she has never met another soul or known anywhere except their forest home. But one day, when daughter is almost 16, a red-haired stranger steps into the confines of their territory, where there was always 2, suddenly there are 3, and the carefully constructed world that Maya has built to keep her daughter safe may not survive it. Another thing I talked about wanting to do this year was read books about motherhood, and so this feels like it would fit in with that theme as well. Next we have The Benefactors by Wendy Erskine, and I believe I know that name. This one is set in Belfast, and as I have talked about many times before, my mum's family is from Derry. Well, my mum herself is from Derry, and so I have wanted to read more writers from the north of Ireland. And this one is by Wendy Erskine, who has won prizes for her books Dance Move and Sweet Home, which I haven't read or really heard that much about, but I am intrigued nonetheless. Meet Frankie, Miriam and Brona, 3 very different women from Belfast, but all mothers to 18-year-old boys. Gorgeous Frankie, now married to a wealthy older man, grew up in care. Miriam has recently loved her beloved husband Cahill in ambiguous circumstances. Brona, the CEO of a children's services charity, loves celebrity and prestige. When their sons are accused of sexually assaulting a friend, Misty Johnston, they'll come together to protect their children, leveraging all the powers they possess. But on her side, Misty has the formidable matriarch Nan Dee and her father, taxi driver Boogie, an alliance not so easily dismissed. So I think that will be an interesting one to read, especially considering all of the discourse going on at the moment about adolescence on Netflix. And also, there was the Irish rugby team thing that went through the courts a few years ago. I can't remember which team it was. Like a group sexual assault as well. So I'm sure that things like that, well, not adolescence, but things, real life stories about sexual violence and masculinity will play into this book. Next we have Eden Shore by Oisin Fagan. And this one, this one has also been praised by Fadia Lennon and Colin Walsh, who seems to have praised every single book by an Irish author that I'm talking to you about. But it is being described as weird and original. At the close of the 18th century, Angel Kelly, an Irishman, set sail from Liverpool aboard the Atlas with the intention of creating a utopian commune in Brazil. But when a mutiny takes place on the ship, he finds himself stranded upon the coast of an unnamed Spanish colony of Latin America. In the aftermath, Kelly becomes unwittingly caught up in a series of crises, culminating in the displacement, rebellion, and deadly game of cat and mouse between empires. which sounds really interesting. I'm definitely looking to read some good literary fiction about pirates. So if you have recommendations for something like that, please do let me know in the comments down below. But this sounds like it's going to be strange and dark, and it says an unforgettable odyssey from one of the most daring writers at work today. So I am definitely intrigued by this one. I don't know what I feel like anything could happen in it, and I do love a bit of historical fiction, as you can see by this next choice, which is Mere by Daniel Glass, and is described as the darkly atmospheric historical fiction debut of 2025. Norfolk, 990 AD. Deep in the fens, isolated by a vast and treacherous mere, an order of holy sisters makes their home. Under the steely guidance of Abbess Sigeberg, they follow God's path, looking to their infirmarian, Hilda, to provide what comfort and cures she can. But when the mere takes a young servant boy, Sigeberg's grip faltered, and Hilda quickly realises this place holds secrets darker and more unholy than she can fathom. Then proud Sister Wulfrun, a recent arrival to the convent, has a vision. A curse is upon them, and change must be brought. Is she a saint or a serpent? To Hilda, Wulfrun is a signal bolder and brighter than any fire set, and one she cannot help but follow. Honestly, that sounds super interesting. I have talked again before about how one of the things I love in books is religion, particularly the mystical end of religion and the marrying of religion and folklore and the places where the borderlands of those things. And I think like this one is going to talk about those things very much. So fingers crossed that it is as atmospheric and interesting as I hope. And then two of my favourite comfort reads writers are coming out with new books this spring. So I'm going to talk to you about both of them as well. These are potentially the books I am the most excited for, and are also the most outside of the normal scope of my reading, the normal things that I talk about on this channel. The first is Silverborn, The Mystery of Morrigan Crow, Book 4 by Jessica Townsend. I believe that Jessica Townsend got long COVID and that this book was supposed to have come out 2 or 3 years ago now. So I am definitely excited to finally read it. It is my favourite middle grade series. I think it's the only middle grade series that I read as an adult, but it is so much fun and well written and immersive. It is perfect, like easy reading without feeling like stupid reading. And so if you are in the mood for something like that and you like a middle grade fantasy, then that is what I would recommend. This is when Morrigan is invited into Nevermore's wealthy silver district. She discovers a world of extravagance and a family mystery she's eager to unravel. She could never imagine where it will lead. A white wedding, a golden dragon, and a red pool of blood. Embroiled in suspicion and danger, Morrigan leaps headfirst into a murder investigation, while also grappling with her ever-growing Wondersmith powers. And although her friends are there to help, she fears that could change if they learn she's keeping a terrible secret of her own. As shadowy forces awaken in Nevermore, can Morrigan find a killer and solve a mystery in her own past before the clock strikes midnight? Now, I said this was all of the books that I've requested on NetGalley, and I was rejected for this one, sadly. I think it's because I've not reviewed enough of them. My review percent is like 78% or something. So I will have to wait, along with the rest of the world, to read this one. But that's probably fine because I do tend to enjoy them on audiobook anyway. And I've also heard that this now is going to be getting a little older, so hopefully it keeps the age it's for is going to be getting a little older because our main characters are getting older. So hopefully it keeps the same magic it had before. And lastly, we have Cover Story by Vari McFarlane, my favourite rom-com writer. Again, the only rom-coms that I read are by Vari McFarlane, although I have luckily had a little bit of a break from her because I read some of them back to back and they do tend to be fairly similar, but she is a very, I think, funny, well-balanced writing. There's not too much earnestness. I think that may be because she is from the UK rather than being an American writer, and I think there are different levels of, I don't know, some things that seem normal in American books of this style can seem cringy in the UK, and I guess British books could come across as cold to Americans. But I have read a few romances from people's favourites, and this is the only one that I keep reading. They are also clean romances, and I think that's easier not to be cringy if you're not writing sex scenes. This is a very short synopsis. Bells joined the tiny Manchester office of a national newspaper from her indie podcast. 30-something Connor is going back to the start as the new intern. The latest office news? They can't stand each other. So of course Belle bumps into Connor when she's working undercover on the biggest scoop of her career. And of course she's forced to improvise, pretending they're a couple deeply in love. 2 rivals, 1 fake romance. The headline writes itself. So, a fairly standard plot, but I think it will have all of the wit and yearning that I want from a rom-com. There's 10 books that I am looking forward to that are coming out in April, May and June of this year. Let me know if I've missed any that you think I would enjoy in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you are new here, my name's Roisin. I put out new videos fairly frequently, so thank you very much. So I will see you again soon, and thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.